Welcome, one and all, to Kappa Club Podcast. Here today from the Kappa Club Bar. It's Digital Bacon, joined, of course, by Chewbacca back. And Chewy, my
Hello.
dude, I'm gonna put a little bit of sound on here, a little turn it up, a little fade in, done by hand, because we are playing Spyro the Dragon, the very first Spyro the Dragon. This is the remake, of course. But
As you can clearly see.
yeah, I absolutely adore this game, my dude. The first one, is a rough little gem. It's a fantastic idea, and to me, the second game is the best game. But
I agree
just
though.
there's so much charm in this series, my dude.
I mean, as I told you earlier, it's clearly a kid's game. Despite the way, of course, the world and how it plays. So, it's a good game out thoughts for adults. But if you're looking for a challenge, this is not your game. If you're looking for a smooth, enjoyable, easy ride, then it is probably a game for you. Just to relax a little bit.
Like,
But yeah, I also agree with the third one. With the whole new characters things, I think it didn't make it any better. I think the second one's the best out of the three.
yeah, it
As
just
well.
made it a little bit too convoluted, if that makes sense. Too busy with what you're doing, and just you want to play Spyro, you don't care about the kangaroo girl Sheila. You're talking about easy. Well, here's our first boy.
There you
You
go,
know.
first dragon. I mean, of course, gonna be easy ones. I mean, if you look at Mario Odyssey, like not every moon in that game is hard, but of course that one has more to collect than Spyro,
Yeah.
and it's also been I think 15 to 20 years later. I don't know when Spyro 1 released, the original one, something 1990 something probably. So games have gone a long way since this game came out, the original.
Oh, I can't flutter jump on this. I remember.
Oh man.
Sorry,
Oh,
I was
dude.
gonna try a thing because you can just get over here, not a problem.
Easy peasy.
Skill point acquired? I don't know what a skill point is.
I mean,
Maybe there's a part of this I haven't ever tested. Skill points.
I assume this is one of your other childhood games that you used to play back in the day.
Oh, easy, dude. Yeah, Spyro back on the PS1 was epic, and it actually amazes me because, nowadays games tend to take years to come out. And that's fair.
Yeah.
The typical turnaround of a game from the start of the project to the end is 3 years, unless you're Call of Duty, which seems to be every 2 years, and that's why people bag on the story and that, and it being the same each and every time. The same with Assassin's
FIFA,
Creed,
right?
yeah.
It's just quantity of quality with them.
Yeah,
Makes
just
sense,
the annual
obviously,
releases,
make more.
yeah. But the Spyro games, all three of them came out on the PS1, and they weren't if I remember, Spyro 1 I think came out the second year of the PS1, so they weren't exactly the PS1 had a decent life cycle. It was 7 years, I want to say. But that's still so impressive. You could get out 3 games in 7 years. Nowadays, we're thinking we're waiting 7 years just for the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That came out in 16, and we're 5 years on now, my dude, and no clue when Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out, right?
It is kind of like the Mario Party series, like on the GameCube, but also it's I think GameCube had 4 Mario Parties eventually. Just
I
plus
want to say more than that.
more than
Because
4. Oh,
3
I think it
came
was
out
4
on the
and,
N64.
yeah.
It might be that I'm thinking of the Wii had a lot.
I think the Wii only had 2, right? Only 1, 8 and 9. Or 8.
The Wii U only had
no,
1.
I think we had 8, 9, and 10. I think. But 10 can also be for the Wii U, so I'm not too sure about that. I did play almost all of them because it's a good game for, especially you have because I've got a big family. We have 6, so even during COVID times right now, it's always fun to play an old school game, Mario Party. Mostly mini games because we're not big fans. Well, I am. I like the board game, but they don't really like the board game, so we just play mini games all day.
There was a sort of secret gem on the Wii U. It was really scuffed, but it was, I want to say, Wii U Party, where you used your Miis instead of, say, Mario characters and that.
Yeah.
It was like I said, pretty scuffed. In like, it had some great ideas to it, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it was pretty. It was subpar. It was like if 6 stars out of 10, but it was just great fun. And I can just remember some of the weird aspects because you had to like pass the Wii U pad around for a
Yeah.
lot of it, but you would actually have to throw the dice, and it would just be your character like holding it above their head as if it was like some sort
Hmm.
of holy item. They were beautiful, just how
I mean,
dumb it was.
of course, it also had the Wii, the whole Me gimmick. So the Wii had a similar game where you also had mini games where you had to use the Wii controller. Like I remember this mini game where you're supposed to pass a bomb along. Like the mini game was like name something red, and every time you said something, you have to pass the bomb along, and you actually have to pass the Wii controller along with your friends or your
Yep.
family, or this other mini game where you were literally hiding the controller in the room. So one person had to leave the room, and then you had to hide it, and then it will make like a
That's
cow
great.
sound, and then you have to find it back. It's a fun mini game. I mean, uh, again, it's more like a kids game, of course, because
Yeah.
there are not that many hiding spots for an adult that are not really hard to find, if you know what I mean. So, I
But
mean, it's still fun. It's innovative.
yeah, the fact that you're bringing the real world into it, so it's not just on the screen, is fantastic. It's like
Yeah.
just little things. Like I want Nintendo Land to come from the Wii U to the Switch. I don't know
Yeah.
how they'd exactly do that, but one of the best games in Nintendo Land was the Toad chasing
Heck.
game, where you had to
Yeah.
be a bunch of Toads chasing Mario, isn't it?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you with the Wii pad, the Mario had it, and it was just basically like cops and robbers. Even though there's another
Yeah.
game which was exactly cops and robbers in there, but the fact that you could use the camera on the Wii U pad to see the reactions on screen of the guy, because
Yeah.
of course the Wii U pad you would look at was so good, and they tried to do it with the Switch, but I think the backlash people had on the Switch was that you had to use multiple consoles.
Yeah, it's hard to do
because-
for the Switch.
Yeah.
Because you need to switch dock in order to use it, so you can't really play that kind of game. So unless you have two, but like they also did the Mario Party for the Switch, Mario Party. They made minigames where you need multiple switches, but it just seems it's not worth it to get multiple switches just for playing a few minigames, you know.
I remember that in Super Mario Party, was it like the tank game in that where you
Yeah,
could
tank game
extend the
and the
map
puzzle
and
game.
yeah, some of them looked really good on that, but yeah, that's the problem. The Switch is very limited because it's all one thing. The Wii U worked because it was the console and the handheld together.
Yeah.
Do you think like I'm not gonna say do you think there should be just a handheld for the Switch? Because to me that's dumb. Because why would you not just like why would you spend say £100 for a handheld advancement to the Switch when for £200 you can get the Switch Lite, and get the entire package there. So and Nintendo's never going to do that because they want you on that Switch Lite instead.
Yeah.
They're only undermining their own thing. But I guess you could do something like a docked only Switch, so just like a little box, right? Because I'd imagine, like, just considering the size of the Switch, you could have a really tiny console. Like, you get those smart TV add-ons, like for people that have older TVs, and just a streaming stick as
Yeah,
such.
Apple TV and such.
Yeah. One of those sort of boxes. You could really, like, I think for Nintendo, ring it in if you were to do that and then have Switch connectivity. Because, you sell one of those for £100 and then you've already, and it's meant to be more of like a just, you set your sofa, but then you can connect other Switches to it, could work.
I feel like it's a bit too late and it's gonna be too confusing, like it did with the Wii U. Like it just looks like an add-on,
Yeah.
and I think it's gonna be confusing. I think it's too late to because I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but it seems like you wanna have like an extra controller that's like a Wii U pad, right? That's your
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I feel like that's too late to do, and there's just not really a need for it because that era is kind of past. Instead they've been making stuff like Ring Fit Adventure, which also works. Like it's just something new. I don't think you need to bring out a whole new controller just for like another Mario Party game, because I don't think it's gonna have a lot of functionality for different games. But it just seems pointless to buy. Like it's the same. If you think of the Wii, with like the whole, I'm pretty sure you use like a gun controller where you could put your Wii in for a gun effect. And of course, that's the steering wheel for Mario Kart. But for Mario Kart, it was added on the game, so you
Yeah.
didn't pay extra for it. But no one would ever buy that gun thing because it's not used for any game except for that one weird game probably. Because I had this game where you supposed to shoot dinosaurs, where it came with the game. So like only for that game you would have used it, and even then, not even every time because it wasn't even useful to use.
So, just off the back of that, it seems like the way Nintendo do peripherals or add-ons to the games as such is bundled in, isn't it, with the game? Like, it comes in the box. Just take Ring Fit Adventure. You can buy the rings separately, generally through third party.
There's no point.
Yeah.
You know?
Because at the end of the day, it's going to be more expensive. Like I said, it's only third party, and the idea is more... Say you break your ring somehow. I've got Ring Fit, and I could not imagine that ring getting broken easily unless you were to, I don't know, throw it out into the middle of the street and a car comes and drives over it.
Or with the Hulk, maybe. If you're a really strongest person in the world.
What's it? The mountain from Game of Thrones just comes along and rips it apart, and you're like, oh, why would you do this?
Guess to buy a new one. Just for this one game. I mean, it's funny because Ring Fit Adventure did really well, though. With sales and like better than they expected it to be, just because it actually works. It's the same with the whole Wii Fit era, with it, the Wii Fit gamepad, like on the floor. Like that's also like a game that also only worked for that game. Like it hasn't been used for any other game, I think. The Wii Fit pad, because there's no use for it. Like it just seems clunky to use for a game like Mario Party.
I want to say there was some use in other games like Mario Party where it's just like balance games, but they're never the core part. Nintendo likes to sort of throw in one or two mini games, which you can probably only get through a special like menu where you've got to go specifically for them.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's exactly the same as for Mario Party 10 for Wii U, because you literally have Bowser only mini games. Because there's a game mode where one person is playing Bowser and the other four are just playing Mario Party. So every time Bowser hit one of you, you do a Bowser versus the party, you know? 1v5, 1v4 I should say. And for that you also use the gamepad for minigames.
And a big thing is Nintendo peripherals are always quote unquote cheap. You know, they even the Wii Fit board and game was, I want to say £80, 80 euros, maybe $100 max as a whole package. And that's you getting this added on board as well as the game, you know? Yeah. So for me saying like with just a handheld, which is sort of a half Switch, that's never going to work because again, that's just £100 for that on its own. Okay, well, what else could you do? We've already seen stuff like... the Switch already has a microphone in it, doesn't it? It doesn't have a camera, so I could see Nintendo playing with cameras again, but they've been very hit and miss, haven't they, in the past with like camera peripherals, especially when you're trying to capture a whole room. It can just be quite
I don't really know what you want to do with the camera. Like,
no, I'm just saying like possibilities and stuff for what like, because the Switch does sort of feel like they've stepped away from the peripherals, bar the Ring Fit.
I mean, yeah, well, it kind of goes against the Switch because the Switch is supposed to be a console at home, but also portable. So if you use those things that you're talking about, it kind of takes it away from it. Because like, I can easily take my Switch with me if I want to. I can easily just take both Joy-Cons off on either side, put them on the right pocket, and put the Switch in the left pocket. So I have it in my pants, you know. But if you also have to carry on, I don't know, a camera add-on or whatever, it just only makes it more annoying and clunkier to take along with you.
Yeah. And I completely agree with that. And it is that sort of... Like, it's me saying here as a fan, I would like those add-on... I'm lost as well, by the way, buddy. I would love those add-on bits, but I agree with you. I can't see them working. And I feel as well, for average consumers, this could actually be a like really perfect segue right now, Chewy, because the PlayStation...
All planned?
Clearly planned. Like, I've been playing you like a fiddle, my dude, to get into the topic.
You're
of
evil,
the PSVR 2 gear got announced, specifically the controllers. So naturally, PSVR came out on the PS4 and does work in some ways, I do believe, with the PS5, just as like a added screen, you know, because it just takes the screen and puts it into your site, and then it does some other bits and bobs with the cameras and such. Like PSVR is very simple for what it is. It's really good though. Like taking the Nintendo approach, right? Why have really complicated equipment? Yeah. So PlayStation VR 2 got announced, and it was really weird because they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to have any information for this until the end of the year." And then a week later, they came out with, "Oh, here's the controllers." Yeah, like what? But the controllers itself
now, man.
look like, you know, PC VR controllers. Take like the Oculus ones where they got like the rings on the end. The only difference being these rings sort of work, I guess, a bit like protectors in the sense that they go over like your wrist. So instead of sticking out on the end, they move back. And a lot of people that are, you know, PlayStation owners and that, where this could be their first proper look into VR, because, like I said, on the PS4, you had to use the PS Move controllers, which I'm pretty sure came out with the PS3. So this was not new tech at all. And it was, you know, Sony realizing that people don't want to get into new ecosystems. You want to take your controller and move it on over. Hence why the PSVR also used like the light on the back of the PS4 controller to work out where the controller is to do some VR stuff with. And so if Sony wants to get more complicated, like in what you can do on VR, like, you know, grabbing stuff and whatnot, then they've got to have proper VR controllers. And it seemed to confuse a lot of people, because stuff like the rings, which look silly, yes, but they've got little infrared lights in them pointing out so that the camera that's looking down at the controller can work out the position of the controller, because it's just detecting what it knows to be a ring there, and then the shape of the ring can dictate, you know, the position of the controller and where it's pointing, just using geometry, right? And of course, your natural, just casual fan doesn't know that's a thing and just looks at these extra controllers, which you're going to have to buy to do their VR stuff, and just got angry at it. And I take that sort of look as well, just across the whole of console games, because PC gamers are like, you know, the whole PC master race thing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess, though, console war.
But PC gamers are a bit, I want to say, elitist in their own ways. They think they're better than console gamers.
Yep.
And they're the minor part of the market, really. Like, console gaming, mobile gaming is bigger than PC gaming. I know the PC market is greatly increasing. What?
Okay.
No idea.
That was crazy.
But yeah, so
history.
I want to say even the mobile gaming market's actually the biggest gaming market or something like that, because you've got regions that, say, South America, and
It just makes more sense because you have a way bigger player base than PC.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has a phone. Oh man,
dude,
you're getting peppered by these dogs.
Dogs, man, they're just wrecking me right now. I'm scared. Get away from me.
I mean, it also makes sense why a lot of the bigger companies, game companies, went for making apps for the phone. Look at Nintendo. Look at pretty sure also a Crash game came out for mobile. Of course, Nintendo did multiple things: Mario Kart, Dr. Mario, Animal Crossing, all those games, just because they know there's a big market there. Even though I'm pretty sure, I'm not too sure, but I think I did hear them talk about that Mario Kart will be the last mobile game. So I guess it didn't work out as well as they wanted it to, because obviously they started with Super Mario Run, which was you paid for, I think it was €7 or €10. It was a pretty big amount of money, and then you could play the whole game.
Yeah.
So they kind of flopped because people said it was too expensive for the whole game. So then the next game they made, I think it was Fire Emblem. They made it pay to win like, and ever since every game after that also is pay to win, sort of. You know, where if you pay a lot of money, like Mario Kart, you get better drivers, so you have way more chance of winning the weekly tournament you have in Mario Kart Tour. People also didn't like those features. So I think Nintendo was like, well, nothing we can do is apparently going right. So I think they just gave up on it and went back to what's working for them right now, which is the Switch and the games they're making for Switch. Which I also think is better because I feel like since they're in their own words, I think they said that the Switch is only halfway of its lifespan, which means they still have to release some big games to make it worthwhile of having a Switch. Because obviously PS5 is now out and the new Xbox is out, which means the Switch is gonna have to do something to be worth playing and worth buying for a lot of people still. Because not everyone owns the Switch yet. Although the numbers are quite crazy, like I said last time. The Sea of Thieves podcast have a special guest Bunny.
That no one would know it was Sea of Thieves unless we told them, because I've been having some recording issues on PC too. As we said, it's fine.
Technical difficulties. I mean, even last time as well with the audio, with the Super Mario 1.
Yeah, and
we are still trying to figure it out perfectly. So bear with us, gamers.
It's because what we're trying to do here is very different. We're not just recording a simple podcast and slap some music on, because we could do that, and if we keep getting issues and running into it, we might have to resort to that too, I think. But we want to still stay with our idea of playing some games in the background, because we're a gaming focused podcast, and I guess drawing inspirations from other similar projects that I can imagine. I haven't looked personally at the comments so much just yet, but along the lines of say Game Grumps and whatnot, even though they go for just a small little snippet form factor, but just saying the similarities I could completely understand being there, because it's just two guys chilling, talking whilst the game's going on in the background.
I mean, it's not really game changing or groundbreaking what we're doing. We're just doing it because we want to do it for fun. So there are probably similarities, and we probably did take inspiration from someone, even if it was on purpose. But there's nothing to worry about. So I'm thinking about comments. I did see one comment on the Super Mario one about Baconcraft being cancelled, dude. So apparently there was a Baconcraft.
Baconcraft?
Yeah, because on the Super Mario one we were talking about Minecraft and how you didn't really like that sort of games, like survival games. Then I did see one of the comments saying a timestamp about Baconcraft being cancelled season 2. So I was like, wait, that was a Baconcraft? I'm kind of confused.
Maybe
dude.
this would be back during, when I was being a pro elite streamer too, and we had
back
a
in the
little
days,
Minecraft
back in the days.
server, way back.
And I was your builder. You still didn't pay me, by the way, for the building. I'm just saying.
What?
You still owe me a paycheck?
You'll get it when this starts making money. How about that?
Okay. Well, everyone, please share with everyone in your family so I can earn some money. Thank you so much.
But yeah, with that, I can remember because we did the Pokemon mod as well and all that. Like Minecraft is great for that sort of stuff. Hopefully, oh yeah, I remember you can turn
you
these.
have to move them.
Yo,
I mean, like I said last time on that one, it's just a sandbox game. So especially with Minecraft, it's so open-ended. You can do whatever you want. Like you can literally even mod whatever you want, which is why it's still a big game. Because you can make your entirely different own game out of it if you're creative enough and have the skills to do so.
And
even texture packs and skins.
I can't remember if I said on the podcast before, but I've got a couple of friends that actually their jobs are Minecraft modders, and they make, or not modders as such, but they make the content that you can buy in the shop.
Yeah,
and
plugins
the plugins and stuff. And there is a whole crazy market around it, and one of the, because they've got like two teams, one team that does more like story-based content, and then one team that does educational content, which I thought was incredible, because I didn't realize until I looked into it, but Minecraft is used in schools quite a lot, and
dude,
one big aspect of it is the redstone, where that can be almost used like a computer science learning tool in how coding works, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's even I'm pretty sure they have their own like robot system as well. Like they literally have their own Minecraft just for school, where you have a more expensive redstone system, like I said, with robots for people who want to code. And I'm pretty sure it also gets used to actually build real life buildings, because I think they well, it's Minecraft, so they do a yearly thing usually, talking about what's coming to the game and what they have achieved so far. And I'm pretty sure they're also talking about how some people use Minecraft to plan their building and then just copy it from Minecraft, which is kind of crazy to think about it, because most people just build something crazy out from their mind because they want to play the game, but people actually use it for real life stuff.
Oh, what, like architects or something?
Yeah, architects actually use it apparently.
Because, and I guess this works in what we've been talking about with peripherals, because the Microsoft HoloLens has been waited for ages, and the thing they always show off is Minecraft. I think in the latest announcement, which was really weird, they showed Pokemon Go, and everyone's there like,
Okay.
why on earth is Pokemon Go a thingy? But it's to show you that you could be wearing these cool glasses, the sunglasses, HoloLens, whatever, and see Pikachu in real life. Like, that's what they showed off. Which,
Wow.
Pokemon Go, like, being a little bit more AR is cool, and definitely I can see the value of AR, right? Because just from my own, like, I want to say experiences from stuff I've worked on in the past, marketing is going to be massive, because you think of like billboards as they are right now in say a mall, like a town center, marketplace, and you get those, or like bus stops where you get the little banner like ads there, and just having those being personalized to you, where all you have is a little like QR code on there in the glasses, pick it up and go, okay, now we'll just show you a relevant ad as if you were on your PC, which is really scary in so many different ways. But that's massive right there.
I mean, I feel like AR also kind of failed in the whole gaming world so far, because if we look at Pokemon Go, not really a lot of people like the AR function, and even the Minecraft Earth, I don't know if you have played it. It's pretty much like Pokemon Go, like it's Minecraft in real life. Then you can collect blocks and you can like build stuff in real life, but it just doesn't feel great. Like, it's just not something you want to do, because you also look silly when you do it. When you're in the open air with other people, it just looks silly and it just doesn't play well.
And it's a hard one, because Pokemon Go is massive, and that's an AR success, but it's only a success because it's very restricted to your phone. Remember the Google Glasses, where they kept those alive for like a year, very small run, but no one bought them. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about Pokemon Go, but I'm pretty sure most people turn AR off when they play Pokemon Go, because AR is just really annoying. Because when you used to play it, you're not just gonna stand around. You're gonna walk around, then you see something, you're gonna catch it real quick whilst you're walking, and it's just not great to walk and have AR function on. It's easier to just have it locked in the same place with a nice Pokemon background they made themselves, instead of
and it drains a lot more
around.
battery, because of course you gotta use the camera and all of that.
Yeah.
But the possibility is there, and people do want it. It's got to actually work. Because I'm just using Pokemon Go as an example purely because all ages play Pokemon Go. If I'm walking my dog, I can tell you more so than not, elderly people love Pokemon Go, and it's such a weird connection, because they've only picked it up because their grandkid is probably gone.
Yeah.
Oh, they want to go for a walk with granddad and grandma, and it's like, oh, can I play Pokemon Go? Sure, whatever. Like, put it on. They're gonna look at what their kid's playing, because that's what you do. You supervise your kid.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're intrigued by this. They could start playing it because they want to try and keep it up for their kids, and next time they come over, they're the cool grandparent who's just gone and got a Charmander or whatever for their grandson, granddaughter, and they're just trying to be a good grandparent. But then the game's fun as it is, like, no matter what, you can't say Pokemon Go is not fun in its base. It can get a bit too grindy in so many areas, but it's fun no matter what, right?
Yeah. Well, again, it's better to play it, because probably the one part about it is you're outside, like how you usually play it. I just play with a friend and we just walk around town, or we go somewhere, and then we just have the app open.
Mm.
I wouldn't say have it open at all times because that kind of takes it away. But every now and then you get a notification from this Pokemon is near you or whatever, and then you open it real quick, catch a Pokemon, and then you continue with what you're doing. I just think it's something you can do whilst you're outside anyways. Like
Yeah.
before COVID hit, I used to go to my office all the time with a train and then walking the last part, like 15-minute walk. And every time in the 15-minute walk, I just have the app open and I just catch things along the way and spin some gyms or Pokestops, just something you can do whilst you're walking. Obviously, you still have to look around you, so don't just mindlessly look at your phone a lot of times, which is a bad thing. Like in your car or if you're walking, I'll always look at traffic. Always look at your surroundings. Just for everyone listening, to all the kids, your life is more important than Charizard. I'm sorry, Charlie, but it is.
How dare you, Drew? How very dare you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the parents are happy with me saying that, dude. All the
Yeah,
parents appreciate
definitely. Easy. And like, I never got into it because it's just not my type of game. But whenever I would play it, it would near enough be because I've got a couple of friends that play it. It was just to get the international ones because just from my job, I before Corona had to do a lot of traveling, And so I would, if I was ever at an airport or just, around the town centre, I'd just, like you said, do a couple of spins, spend 10 minutes while, say, eating my lunch in a little cafe, pick up a couple of Pokemon, and then trade it with a friend who's back here. And he loved that because, that's, I think they've, basically you get more XP candies out of it for the further away the Pokemon was at its origin when you traded it. So
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's one within. I think you get one candy within 10 kilometers, two candies within 50 or something. So the idea is meant to promote travel,
Yeah.
And then you trade it with your friends. They've been away. Oh, you've been to. I know. I'm like London based. So you've been to France. Did you get any good Pokemon there and trade them over? Yeah, that sort of thing, which is really cool. And because I had my work sort of being that way inclined with a lot of travel, I'd just do it for my mate. I didn't care about the candies, but he enjoyed the game. He was a fan of it, so why not? Like, it don't hurt, does it? And I can imagine for a lot of people, like I said, with the grandparents and that, a lot of people just like it because it's a nice little bit of interaction.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of old people and gaming, I don't know if you heard about the story, but there's this one elderly woman. I think she was over 100 years old or something, and she said her secret was just playing Animal Crossing all day. Like,
I was wondering where you were going with that for a second, because I know there's the Skyrim granny.
It's a Skyrim one? Probably multiple ones, dude, because I feel like older people just play a lot more games now. There's also, of course, I think it's WoW, the WoW streamer, Ours Glory and Gold. Like, he's also an old man, obviously, and he just streams all day, which I think is really cool because when you're older, you just have a lot less to do, just because life is slower. You probably maybe have a bingo with the boys on Saturday evening. Who knows? I mean, you probably know because you're probably one of the older people, right, Baco? Nah, just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Just schooling
25 years old. You're an old person, man.
Well, wow. You're already 25% there, dude, to the lady. But yeah, so the lady played Animal Crossing every day, and she said it helped her just stay, I guess, focused. Because you have a lot of things to do in Animal Crossing, and I guess you're also kind of socializing in Animal Crossing, like you talk to your villagers. So I feel like for a lot of old people, it actually helps them get through their life when you get older, just because you simply can't do as much as you can when you were younger. And it's really cool because they even gave her own villager in the new Animal Crossing game. I think it was the wolf or the horse Renee, one of the two.
It was the wolf. I want to say Aubrey. Something like that? No.
Well, I mean, it was still cool. Yeah. However it was, it's still a cool thing to do for Nintendo.
Nintendo did good adding her
Which is weird, but it's Nintendo, and usually they're not really known for this kind of stuff,
Oh, I remember what I need to do on this guy. Yeah. You burn his bottom.
There you go, he's dipping. That's probably really listening to everyone listening on Spotify. You just burn his bottom. Probably, it's a boss fight from Spyro, don't worry about it.
Yep.
Nothing weird going on. Speaking
Gotta
of
wait
Spyro,
for him
dude,
to spin, don't I?
well, obviously Spyro is one of your childhood games, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, dude, were you more a Spyro, a Crash, or a Mario person when you were younger? If you had to choose.
So it was definitely Mario games growing up.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Crash Bandicoot. Like I'm not saying I hate it. I just couldn't get into them because the original Crash Bandicoots were hard, and
Yeah.
as a kid,
Definitely.
I played Crash 1. I owned Crash 1. My cousin had Crash Bandicoot 3, so whilst not owning it, I
Okay,
played it and
step up.
finished it. But I never played 2 until I just recently got the Insane Trilogy.
Yeah. So,
I haven't finished it. I haven't even finished the first Crash Bandicoot in that. But yeah, they just didn't. I don't know. Just didn't vibe with me. Not my thing.
I guess you're not really into Australian wildlife. I guess not your pajamas.
That's it. It's the Australian. No, because a game. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. You ever played that?
Was it a racing game or not? Because I think
No,
I played...
no. This
No,
was
okay.
this was another one of these styles. So
No, then probably don't know.
you,
No.
you know what Tasmanian Tiger is, right?
Of course I know.
Yeah.
I've seen Looney Tunes. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, cool. That's the Tasmanian Devil.
Oh well.
Different
Same thing,
animal. Different animal.
They're both Tasmanian, dude. That's all we care about.
both from Tasmania, which is south of Australia, a little bit. Like it's part of Australia, but it's like its own little island and state. Anyway, so he was this. Just think of like a tiger, a little bit.
Yeah. But he's
And
Tasmanian.
the way he attacked was by throwing boomerangs. Very Australian, and it was bloody great. Maybe I'll have to bring it on sometime. Chew, we'll have to play it on stream.
That kind of reminds me of Cow the Kangaroo. I don't know if you know that game. It's kind of like the same thing. Like it's also this kind of style. It's also really Australian-like. So I guess Australians like these type of games. It seems. They're really into this stuff. I mean, going back to Crash, I did play the Insane Trilogy, and I just have to say that the gameplay just doesn't feel good. Like it doesn't respond quick enough in my opinion, because I'm used to probably the newer games because I didn't play it back in the day. But I'm pretty sure they didn't really change the gameplay wise for Crash Bandicoot and Insane Trilogy, only the graphics. And you can tell because the way it plays, it's so clunky. It just doesn't respond well to when I jump. It's like a second later. And obviously, I didn't play the new Crash Bandicoot game yet, which I hope I will play it soon because it does look fun.
It's had great reviews as well, the new Crash Bandicoot, hasn't it?
Well, I'm just hoping it actually got updated with gameplay-wise, because the gameplay from the original ones weren't that great. I'm gonna have to be honest.
And I feel like it's just they were great games when they came out, but remastered or like redone. And I praise how they did Crash Bandicoot because it felt very true to the original, which is great. Because there's way too many games coming out now which are we're doing a remaster of this game and it feels nothing like the past. To not bonk on that on the, I was going to say a counter example to a game that's done it right in what they wanted to do is new Final Fantasy VII, where they've gone, okay, we're taking Final Fantasy VII, but we're doing a more what if this was a game made today. So we're not doing the exact same game you love and know, but taking little bits and pieces out because why the hell would you do that? That's a great way to do it. The bad way to do it is something like Warcraft 3, where they were meant to just bring it up to date, like graphically enhancing all of that, but then just cut so much content because it was a cash grab, straightforward and simple, and the whole mess. They really killed an entire like fan base with that.
I feel like the whole remaster slash remake thing is a grey area because it's never clear when something is a remaster or a remake. Like even though they sound so similar with one another. Because if you look at the Mario 3D All-Star Collection, it got a lot of hate for not being like Spyro remastered version or Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Which is like, I guess it makes sense, but also they never said that they were gonna remaster it with new graphics, you know. So you can't really be mad at it that they're releasing an old game. Just because it has simply been done over and over again with even with the Wii and every other. Also, there's release old games because you know people want to play their old games, and if you don't release them, you can only play them on like the NES or something, which is even worse because you have to buy a whole new console. So just people hating that thing is just, in my opinion, I guess it makes sense, but also not justified because they never state what it is, a remake or a remaster, and even then, that whole the meaning for those two things are so similar that it's hard to know which one is which, even to me.
Quite a lot of the time when they say, "Oh, it's a remaster," it's just a port, isn't it? You know, and I feel, you know what? For a fun little exercise, should we like say what we think a remaster and a remake should be?
Okay.
And then try and give like so. For me, a remake and a remaster. The difference there is a remaster is sort of like, I don't want to say straight up porting it, but up in the textures. So you've got the same game, you still got the same code and everything.
Like Spyro, pretty much, kind of.
I think no, Spyro would be a remake because they didn't have the original code, so they had to make the game from scratch.
Okay.
You've still got the game there, and you can just copy it, but they had to make it from scratch, so that's a remake, right? Because the name's there. A remaster would be something like the Last of Us 1, which released at the end of the PS3 life, and they had to remaster it for the PS4 by upping it to 1080p from 720, and doing that sort of stuff to it, just generally quality of life changes. So that's like what a lot of people, can you remember back on like the GameCube days and that you would get the director's cut of games? That to me is like a remaster, just because that just feels like a good term for it. You could call it the director's cut, same thing, but it just feels like they've gone back a second time and looked over the game and gone, this is all the improvements, and that should be
adding on to it. You're also thinking a remaster also has added content then instead of a remake, because if you go back to the game, you might, so in my opinion, maybe add like an extra level to it or something extra to it.
Yeah. If it was like cut content, like for example,
Xenoblade is a good example.
Go on.
Well, the Xenoblade game, what was it called again? There's like this whole new region which was cut from the original game, which is the shoulder of the, what is it called, Bounders? What the other one? What's the other one called? Bounders, right?
In Definitive Edition.
Yeah, but it's got the Bounders, right? I guess the one with plant life and wildlife is the Bounders, and almost Mechonis, I think. Yeah, okay. So it was pretty much a game after the actual game, but in the original game it got scrapped. I don't know exactly why. I think because they already had a good ending to it, so there was no need to put it back in. But for the Definitive Edition, they added a little extra, I guess, mini story to it, which is like 5 hours long, with just I don't know what the girl was called, the one with the wings on her head. I think maybe you know, probably.
With the wings in the head. Oh no, it slipped me right now. But keep going. The
Yeah, so it's pretty much her, and it's Rex. No, not Rex from Xenoblade 2.
Yep, Rex from
Shulk.
Shulk, yep.
Shulk and the lady pretty much, and a few Nopon, which are the children of the one Nopon from the first game. It's terrible that I don't know any of the names right now, but Blackout, dude. This live Blackout, I've got all the names for everyone right now. But pretty much, that game is, like you said, probably... Is it a remake? I think it's a remake. They probably built from scratch.
I think that's a remaster, because they didn't make it from scratch, because they had all the code, they ported it on over, but they definitely remastered it because the UI is different, they made quality of life changes.
Yeah.
It's the definitive edition as such. I think I've left a dragon somewhere in here, but who cares? But yeah, and that sort of comes into, that's the director's cut sort of idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the definitive, that is the final version, to which if you were to go back, like if you're a completionist, you want 100% games, if you go back, you're not playing the Wii version of Xenoblade Chronicles, you're playing the Switch version, because that is what they call the definitive version. And again, because they had to up it from the Wii version was only at 480p, I think it was, because it was not HD, it was standard def. So they had to go in, they had to just up-res the textures, which for me isn't like I said before, by our definition, is not a remake, because
more a port.
yeah.
You said. I mean, that only proves the fact that we said remaster has added content, because if that's a remaster, then it's perfect. It proves our example.
I think
What's that point?
a remake can have added content and a remaster can have added content, because it just depends.
Okay.
Like, that's not the final factor, that's just added content, and both can have it. And that sort of goes into a different topic, like I said, because I've already brought up the Final Fantasy VII remake, as they call it. But for me, I would call that a reimagining. Because the new Final Fantasy VII, which I haven't played yet, I'm going to say. I've got it, but I haven't got around to playing it yet. That is roughly the first 4 to 6 hours of the original game.
Didn't they release
they've made
the
it
game twice?
60. What, sorry?
Well, didn't they release it on PS4 and PS5 as well now?
Yeah, they've just got it on... Yeah, a lot of PS4 games you can just play on PS5, and they've just, like, re-upped it to PS5. So that's I guess, under our thing, a remaster of a reimagining.
Yeah, but even with it, because instead of play, it got its own segment, which makes it look like it's not like any other PS4 games. Because, most PS4 games are like on a pause, I think, so you can play it on PS5. At least that's what Barney, or Grants from last time, told me. That there's like a pause where you can play God of War, and I think also Uncharted, well, all of those games on PS4.
So, a lot of PS4 games you can just play on PS5, because the way they're coded is very much like a PC, right?
Yeah.
So, in the old days, like, the Wii U, for example, has got a 3-core processor, which is just weird in every single way to have that number of cores, and thus coding for it can be very odd and all of that as a result. So that's why ports are a little bit more difficult, but nowadays we're getting so many ports of very recent games because
all the time
they're easy to do. They're straight up easy to do. It's like the easiest time alive to be able to put between your different consoles, because largely they all run, say, the Xbox was always easier to code for because it could just run on DirectX like you get on PC. Not as simple as that, it still had difficulties, but just saying, largely much easier than the PlayStation. The PlayStation just always had the install base, the number of PlayStation owners. So that's why you do PlayStation stuff. And hence why, when, say, Skyrim back in the day had so many bugs on the... bugs on the PS3, but was better on the Xbox, was purely because the Xbox version was just near enough the same as the PC version. Of course, a little bit downscaled, and you couldn't change res and all of that sort of biz. But the PS4 had, like, memory leak issues, just because when they coded the game and such for the PS3, they didn't know the problems were going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, Skyrim is like the king of ports, dude. That game has been on every console ever. I'm pretty sure I can even play it on my toaster if I want to, dude. That game has been released everywhere. It's kind of crazy, that game.
So, what do we put Skyrim under? Because Skyrim has had not only the regular game, DLC, they had Skyrim... the complete pack or something like that, Ultimate Edition, sorry, and now we have the Skyrim Special Edition, which is like the up-resed version. So for me,
Skyrim is it all.
Skyrim, because also when we're speaking of like remakes and that, you just get ports. That's one area we haven't really talked about as well, where ports are their own thing, and naturally when you port, you could... I was worried about getting knocked off there. With a port, you could just upscale or up-res the textures, because, heck, you've got a more powerful console. Why wouldn't you? Because when you're making for a game anyway, especially when you're on multiple systems, you might just force the
Yeah.
game to be at a lower res purely because it makes it run better. You know,
Yeah.
like if you've like take games right now, Switch games are going to have all their textures at lower resolutions because the Switch would run so much slower. The frame rate would just drop straight off the face of the earth if they had to have the 1080p textures. Like you look at Spyro for us right now. I like this game and I love the aesthetic. We're playing on a Switch and it does not look anywhere near as good as the PC version. Like if you look at Spyro himself,
4K, dude.
yeah, this is running at 720p. Big difference. Spyro almost looks. I'm not going to say blurry, but soft. If you know what I mean. You look at the grass and how that's moving.
Textures.
That's going at like 10 frames a second, ain't it? You know. And it's just there are ways to get a game that runs because this game runs at 60 FPS. Don't get me wrong, in the loading screens it just drops completely.
At the start.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of cringe, dude.
we panicked for a moment there, but that's a loading screen. It don't matter.
Yeah. I mean, you always think about this is also portable, you know, so you also have to make it playable portable. Because if you can't play it portable, it should be on a Switch, you know, because the Switch is supposed to be for portable and for at home. So if you can't even play it on the go, then what's the point of having your game on there?
Yeah, exactly.
And like it doesn't even look really bad, you know, like it's not like this game looks terrible on the Switch. It just, if you really care about graphics, then you should probably get the PC version, but I feel like most people are just here for gameplay and just want it to be effective, which for a lot of people probably makes it buy on the Switch easier. Because not everyone has time to have a long gaming session all the time, you know. Some people travel a lot.
I waited because Spyro came out on the Switch way later than on the PC, PS4, and Xbox. I waited for it to come out on the Switch purely because of the portability. I was there, like I said, this is one of my favorite games, and we're already into the third world here. I'm pretty sure there's only 4 worlds. So we're
almost done.
No, there's 5 worlds technically.
Oh.
Sorry, the 5th world doesn't
Debated.
really count because it's just a gauntlet of little levels, like next to each other. And looking at the time, we're already 52 minutes into this recording shoot.
Okay.
I doubt I'm going to finish this game by then, but if I wasn't, you know, just faffing about getting gems because I'm playing this like I would naturally play it, you know, you could quite easily speedrun this game within an hour. You know, it's not hard. That's doing it casually.
Same could be said for the Shovel Knight speedrun. Like, Shovel Knight, like, it's even a mission to do it in an hour and a half, and we were podcasting it up, and it almost took 2 hours just because once you're talking, you're also not, like, you also focus on the game. So it kind of makes you overthink things, and when you're speedrunning, well, at least when I use speedrun Shovel Knight a little bit. When you speedrun, you do the obvious things. Like speedrunning is pretty much just do the same thing over and over again until it goes well, you know. So when I was talking with you, I was doing things I would normally not do in a run, just because I'm playing a game. And I want to show you things that you know might be funny to look at on for the podcast or for you even. It's just how it is. Dude, I even showed you the Yacht Club Games logo Easter egg, dude, at the start of the second month.
So, yeah, it's strange, and I guess when we look at it, that's another. Like we're still on the topic of remasters and ports and all that, guys. Don't you worry. But older games were a lot shorter than they are now, weren't they? Like,
yeah,
I could imagine if you released a brand new game right now, Chew. Correct me if you disagree, but if someone was to release Spyro 1. Right now, with the amount of content that's in this game, like I said, you can beat it within an hour if you wanted to speedrun it. 100% in it, easy to do within 2 hours. Or 120% in, sorry. Everyone would be an outrage if this game cost more than £15.
Well,
you know?
I feel like people are rich anyways about anything. Like, of course, the prices of games has been going up. Like, it didn't used to be 60 all the time. And we also in the age where even ports and such are 60 just because it takes a long time nowadays to develop games, it seems. And most games that are being released are usually in alpha / beta state, you know. Like you look at Cyberpunk, that game doesn't look finished at all.
So I feel like people kind of lost trust in the whole gaming industry over the years with how games have been coming out. So like if it was a good game, I don't think people would mind that much because look at Celeste, look at Shovel Knight, and I know they're also like 20 euros a piece, I think. But if the game is good and if there's a lot of replay value, like this game could easily probably be a speedrun category if it was, if that probably a little bit better movement and speed tactics, then could very well be a good game.
And I think we're at an age where people are, I don't want to say weirdly, like brand minded in the sense of you look at the fan base behind Yacht Games and Shovel Knight. I've got a sneeze.
Soon died.
Yep. And people are like ride or die, as the term is. You know, I'm probably a year late on that term about Shovel Knight. Yeah, a little boomer moment. Don't worry. But if you prove that, and Shovel Knight is the best example of it because they released the game from the Indiegogo and they've fulfilled all the extra backing goals, even though it took them years and years to get them added on. And
even almost bankruptcy almost.
Yeah.
Commitment.
But because of that commitment, they now have investors in them, and they've got like as soon as there is another game announced by Yacht Club Games. I can't remember what it is.
I think it was a Cyber Ninja thing, right? I think Cyber Shadow Ninja.
Shadow Ninja? I can't remember.
Something like that. I think it was by them. Pretty sure.
Was it Messenger?
No. It's a new game. The picture's not even released yet. But I think it was called Cyber Shadow Ninja, and it wasn't produced it.
I know.
So.
But yeah, so people will instantly be there, like trusting that this other game's going to be of the same quality. And when we look at AAA games right now, did I speak before about Mafia 3? And I played that recently.
I don't recall, so I doubt it.
So, just for people out there, I tried to play Mafia 3 recently because it was on PlayStation Now. So I was like, I'm going to download this. It looked fun. The soundtrack for the game is incredible. The game itself is arse. And I tried to like it. The story looks good. And from what I played, is good. But the problem is the gameplay is bad and it is buggy as all hell. And this game has been out for 3 years. And I
think I did hear the story. I think it crashed a lot, right? A lot of crashes.
It just crashed all the time. And a lot of the ways to... And their reasoning for not fixing it and going back is because, if you just restart the game, turn off your console, restart the game, that will fix it. And it worked, like, for me anyway, 1 in 5 times to actually fix it. So,
but it's also just lazy by them.
Yeah, that's lazy.
Really lazy.
Because going back and fixing them is not going to make them money. They've already sold the game,
Yeah.
And it's the same with, like, when a YouTuber goes, we make most of our views within the first hour. And a lot of YouTubers like that because people have, that's why you want the bell icon ticked and all of this gear.
Yeah, I mean, it's a job, so they kind of need people
I
to look
hate
at it.
these things, by the way.
Oh,
I hate spiders so much. Oh,
I mean, for YouTube, like, it's their breadwinner, right? So it makes sense that they would look at the statistics of the videos. So yeah, but continue. You were saying something. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Oh, I'm dead. So the games are mainly sold within their first 2-3 months, and then you've got that portion that will wait until it goes on sale. They're your two big ones. Hence why you take a look at Metal Gear Solid 5. Great game, fantastic game. You can pick up for £4. That is cheap. I wholly recommend everyone pick up Metal Gear Solid 5. Even if you're I'm not too sure, £4, well worth it. Trust me. And there's so many different aspects to the game which just make it great fun. But that's purely because they know if it was any more, people probably wouldn't purchase it now. They've got their main... I don't want to say money makers off of it already, but the ones that would spend the full £40 have already bought it. Then no one's going to pay full price for that anymore. And
I mean, one exception is, of course, GTA, which is still, even though it's getting cheap in sales, like every now and then, like Steam sale, summer sale, it's still, I'm pretty sure, the most sold game every year. since it's released.
Haven't they
Which is
given it
crazy.
away quite often as well?
Yeah, Epic Games as well. I released Epic Games for free, but I think it was only once. But still, yeah, even a lot of people I know, they already own the game, just got it anyways, so they have 2 copies of the game. Just
Yeah.
because, why not?
And I mean that is always outstanding to me, but I think it's just GTA always has a lot of replayability because it's just a fun game to dip in for an hour, cause some chaos, blow some stuff up, and then that's it, done. Get out of there. Like I won't even play the online. I don't know about YouTube, but I much prefer the single player aspect because, like I said, just cause some chaos. I enjoy that.
Nah, for me it would be the other way around because I feel like you could have more fun with your friends just memeing about. Because my best moments in GTA 5 is just me and the boys just messing about in the overworld. And of course, you're gonna have people, because GTA 5 online is a mess, dude. People just kill each other for no reason, but just part of the game. It's just how online works with any game you play. But still, it makes for a fun and memorable experience, I think, at least.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's why I mostly play online. And I guess same as Minecraft, GTA is a good support for people building their own maps and races and such. So that just shows if you add something for people to build upon, it just means your game is going to stay alive a lot longer because Minecraft will not die for a long time. And probably same with GTA 5 until GTA 6 releases, you know, until a new GTA comes out, which makes people hype again and kind of forget about GTA 5. The game will not be dead.
And I guess that goes on to games these days are treated as a service, you know, they're not. Okay, that's math. They're not just a one-time thing, which also goes, I'm going to say, strongly in the face of that. Single-player games are massive at the moment as well, like story-driven single-player games, and that's especially what's been working good for Sony with the PlayStation, right? With when you look at God of War, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
all of those,
Uncharted.
people want 2 different types of experiences. They want something that they'll come back to each and every week. Heck, even the just go in for the, log in for the daily rewards, that sort of style.
Yeah.
And then they also want a game where they're just going to play it for years. And those types of games are generally more your competitive games, like, your Rocket League, Rainbow Six, as an example. Just getting very confused here, sorry. But yeah, people want those as well because that's your main game as such, not your story game that you're coming on for. And when you look at companies, they are trying to find more ways to, I want to say, clone the magic that GTA struck, because GTA has just made incredible amounts of money. It has to be said.
But it's weird because, the developers, Rockstar Games, also made Redemption 2. And that game's online is so bad. Like, it's so bare bone. And even recently, because, they released online, like, you can buy online separately. I think it was for €5. It might be more now. It was like till limited time. You could buy it for €5. Just online, so not straight mode. So that alone already shows how much to get online when it's only were €5, you know? Yeah, they even removed the daily login bonus, which they had, because a lot of players, like I said, they just log in once a day to get, I don't know, like a piece of gold, which is kind of like the shark card currency in GTA, where you can just buy other stuff which you can't buy with stuff you earn in game. So for some reason, when they released this online update, they removed that feature where you could log in every day and get gold pieces. They made it worse. So a lot of people who were loyal to the game would log in every day to get that gold piece. Just kind of got, well, they kind of got the middle finger, kind of got the finger. We're like, okay, well, frick you guys, we're gonna remove it for no reason. Even though the whole game has been dead with updates for over a year. The latest update, also the only update, was the saloon one, where you could have your own private saloon.
Oh yeah.
Which is insane because, it's the same makers from GTA, which is the most sold game every year to this day, and it still has a lot of influence on the gaming industry, and it's still seen a lot on Twitch and such. And then they release another. Red Dead is a good game, like single player, just the mechanics. The game has been done really well. Like if you compare it to Cyberpunk is a disgrace compared to Red Dead. So it's so weird to me that online is so bare bone, empty, and they're not doing anything with it.
And they've been trying to sell the online, because you can get the online only part of Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption 2 for £4 or something,
Yeah.
and yet they've abandoned it. So that feels like truly it is a cash grab. I can't describe it in any other way than Red Dead 2 has just been abandoned, and
Which is
they want
weird.
people to get onto it and then not even bother about refunding the game purely because it only costs £4, $5, whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a phenomenal game, and I played a little bit with Buddy once again. Another appearance for him. Like me and him played together, and I feel like if that game got a lot more updates and a lot more attention to it, I feel like there would be a lot more players and would just be for everyone better, even for Rockstar Games, because people would probably spend more money in a game that's active and alive. Like I even told multiple friends of mine that they should probably wait till it gets a bit more fleshed out. Like a few real life friends and people like Ted Essence, the people that were interested in the game. I told them just wait a little bit longer, and then we can make our own clan together. But the game never got any updates, which just means all those people that could have bought it didn't buy it. Because why would they? You know, there's nothing to do there unless you want a single player story mode, which is really good. To be honest, like it's probably the best story I've played.
Mm-hmm.
But online, it's just such a disappointment how they treated it. Like
It's a
leaving it
horrible
there.
contrast, and to me that shows. I think we talked about it before with Cyberpunk, and it's the difference between developers and publishers. So the developers truly cared about the main game, the story, the single player, and that's not what makes long term money. It's the multiplayer that does, and so when push came to shove, they had to include the multiplayer and do it the way that they've done it because the publisher, that's what they cared about. But then also the publishing side, it's 2K, isn't it, for Rockstar, cares more about GTA because that's what's making money. So they couldn't put as much effort into the multiplayer of Red Dead because the team's working on GTA, but then they've still got to put effort into it because they want people coming back and buying the currency and stuff. So it's a hard draw, but it's the same with Cyberpunk, right? Cyberpunk's going to have a multiplayer come out at some point. They've already announced it. They've already said they're currently working it. They're also working on DLC. And that feels very odd in its own right because you're there going, I feel anyway, like Cyberpunk should have just had a system where you can just all be in the same world and, I don't know, just treat it like the story mode. You don't need anything extra. Like, how hard is that? But that's because they want to fill it out like GTA, where they've already had, races in the single player. So they want you to be able to design your own racetracks and all of that. And that's where it takes time, but that's also where you're going to get people coming back to it.
Yeah, I also feel like then it's okay to share what their focus is for the future, but I feel like they should focus on fixing the game first instead of already focusing on DOC and the online function. Because like I said, you can easily just make it an open experience with two other people, like Dying Light did, like it doesn't matter if you play alone or with a friend, either way the story is going to be the same. But I also think it's going to be hard with Cyberpunk because the choices you make affect the game a little bit, right?
Yes and no. They don't affect the overworld.
It's small, but still, like
they
it gives
affect
you a sense
other
that the changes
characters and
made.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know about Dying Light 2 that it's also going to be online, but they're gonna it's going to be changing depending on who's the leader. So like if I would be the group leader, then you're playing on my world. So if you play in your own world, you start at the start again. So
Which, yeah, I don't think anyone cares about that. Like, that's the weird part. Like, I honestly don't think any players really care, and that's the best solution to it, right?
Yeah, because if you're not happy with how the story is going, you can always just start your own world and do your own choices. But I feel like if you play with a friend of yours, you're probably gonna discuss what choice you're gonna make. So I hope they won't have a time limit on when you're gonna choose, because I feel like that's a bad plan for if you're gonna do it together, because then you're gonna get it rushed and probably make a stupid mistake you don't wanna make. Of course, I don't know how big it was gonna be, the choices you make, but they did talk about how they're gonna make a big system in that game. And since it got delayed multiple times, I would think it's also gonna be big on how it works.
When is Dying Light 2 meant to be coming out?
Well, it's been silent for a little bit, dude. But I think it was 2 days ago they actually spoke up about it, dude, and they're doing a Q&A soon. And they confirmed it for 2021. So they finally gave us some reassurance it's gonna be this year. And I'm hyped, dude, because I love Dying Light 1. I played it like 3 times.
I still want to play Dying Light 1. I think I've, like, because they've handed it out free so many times, I think I've got
They
Dying
have?
Light 1, yeah, twice on PC
What?
through
When?
both Epic Games and Twitch. And I've got it on the PlayStation, and I haven't
Oh,
played
it's
it.
a really good game. It's a really good game. You have to play it, man. You have no excuse. You got it for free.
Alright.
You have to play it.
I'll play it at some point. Like, at the moment, because the Xbox Game Pass has just had EA added to it, I've just downloaded Battlefield 5, Star Wars Squadrons, which I can't wait to play, because I've got a flight stick and all of that, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the single-player
I
experience
love Star
there.
Wars things. Okay.
So, they're my ones, and it's the problem, right? And this could be something cool to talk about, is I feel if I'm just given a game for free, I don't feel as compelled to play it over the games I bought.
Yeah, makes
Because,
sense. I agree.
yeah.
If it's free, it's just there for the future. I mean, you pay for it, you want to make the most out of it. This is how I think most people feel about it. Which like I got Rage 2 installed because it was free Epic Games, but I still haven't touched it because I have other games I want to play. Like I actually want to beat them because I know that if I'm gonna play a game, it's probably gonna take 6-7 months before I look into it again. Same happened to Zelda game, the new Zelda game.
Yep.
Which apparently is really long, dude, because I've been playing for a while again, and the game is still going. There's no end, dude. I thought it was gonna be way shorter than it actually is.
Oh, is this Hyrule Warriors too?
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
That game is long, dude. What the hell? I thought it was gonna be a short game, but no, it's still going. I'm already 3 hours in. Like, what the heck?
I'm in the same boat, and I use it as like the sure I'll drop an hour into it and then come back later sort of type game, because
Yeah.
it does get a bit repetitive, Hyrule Warriors, especially with if you want good gear in that, you have to grind.
Well,
And-
it's also a hard game, dude. Well, I play
Yeah.
hard mode. It's not the hardest mode yet, but I play on hard mode, and it's actually a challenging game where some characters just don't work on certain maps.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I don't
require
wanna use
play
it.
styles and
Yeah.
actual party compositions, which is cool.
Like Impa, well, I think the name Impa, she's definitely the strongest character because the ultimate charges so fast. And for certain, like some maps are just boss fights, and if you don't have someone that gets his ult fast, there's just no way you're gonna beat the map in like 5 minutes. It's
Emperor
usually
is
the time limit.
broken in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah,
She
and
is
I'm
just
loving it, dude.
way too good. And
I'm
the
loving
thing
it.
is, she is incredibly fun to play.
Yeah.
Just sticking on Hyrule Warriors, because, yeah.
We're here now.
Zelda is horrid to play as.
Yeah,
in that.
yeah.
She's just
I mean-
not fun.
I don't know how many characters you unlock, but there are a lot more characters than you think there would be in that game. And I guess you could call it spoilers, but I don't think it's really that bad. But of course, you already know about Hestu, right? The Deku guy.
Yep.
With his maracas, like he's weird to play, but he's still alright, even though he's pretty big. Then you can also play as the fairies, the 4 fairies, and they're just so humongous that you can't even see what you're doing, and like, you can't even see what's going on around you. And that character is so bad. Like I don't know why they made that character, but if I could choose, I would never pick that character. Just because there's no combo with that character. You only have 4 moves, and you can't even see what's going on around you.
I literally just play as Link, Impa, because Link you've got to basically have for every single one, because Legend of Zelda, right?
I mean, he's the main guy.
Impa if I can, because sometimes they'll force second characters. And then,
Oh,
like,
Impa's good.
yeah, like I'm saying sometimes they'll force the second character, so you can only have 2. They're my 2 main picks. And then the third, if I can pick my own third, is Rivali.
Okay.
Actually, all the
A STEM
champions are
character?
pretty good, I'm going to say.
I would say I play most characters apart from a few really bad ones. Like I even play Hestu, but Hestu is not even bad to play as. Like I said, he's still alright. Like of course he's a meme character in that game, but he's still fun to play as, and he has good combos. But some characters are just so bad that they're not worth playing at all.
So I think I don't enjoy Hestu probably because I haven't got him upgraded yet. I haven't spent the
Okay.
time upgrading him. And that could be another, I guess, downside. Because who's the Gerudo? What's her name?
Urbosa.
Abrosa, yeah, thank you. She gets funner the more upgrades you put into her. Because it's like her combos at the start are a bit meh.
She's also pretty strong with her electric abilities.
Oh yeah, she's strong, but I'm just saying earlier on she feels quite limited. And the same with the Goron, Durk, is it?
What?
Daruk? The
Daruk.
Goron. Yeah.
There's like a Gert. Who's Gert, dude?
Who's
I'm
Gert?
confused.
I
Who's
will
the
write this
character?
now. Damn now. D&D character names. Gert.
Gert.
I like
Nice.
it. He's going to be an orc or something. But did I beat this boss? I can't remember. No.
It seems new.
I'm trying to finish this off as quick as I can. We might be
Well,
able to.
I feel like you can't beat it in time anymore, dude. I feel like we've already been going for quite a while. So I think you beating it is not going to happen.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
not-
probably.
maybe not our-
I'm going to say maybe another day we'll come back. Might come back for Spyro 2. I'd love to pick that up at some point in the
mean, you
future
already have-
because I
already have
mean,
a long
got
list.
free.
We have a
Oh.
long list, dude. We also have all the Shovel Knight games. We have Spyro games. We have. I believe you said we're also going to do golf again one day.
Golf
Right?
again one
Again?
day. Kirby
Yeah.
Golf we want to do as well.
Oh yeah, Kirby golf.
Do like a little rematch of that. Oh yeah, I remember this boss. He's so easy.
Oh, well, nice. Oh, he just dipped, man. He's gone.
Yeah, he's out of here. Look at that.
I mean, you were talking about Spyro 1 being like a kind of a tough gem to love, but I think it's probably one of the better Spyros. It's definitely better than 3. I feel like the problem with 2 and 3 is they talk too much and they have too much reading
So-
for a game like this.
I think the reason why I say it's a tough one to love is one, it's really simple in like its
Yeah,
gameplay
of
loop and
course.
everything. And then 2, you don't have a lot of movement. Like in 2 and 3, the amount of movement that gets opened up to you is so much better. And because like right now, all you can do is breath, charge, and glide.
Yeah.
You know, when you come into 2, you get the flutter, glide.
Ground pound.
Yeah, all of those sort of things, which just add more gameplay to it, and just the characters are a lot better in 2 because you think in 1 all you've got is basically Spyro. In 2 you've got the whole it's not Asgard. What's the world called?
Oh, you
But
got the tiger and the bunny
Yeah.
and all those characters and stuff.
the Fawn
the-
and
the
all,
Fawn,
yeah, all
yeah,
the
yeah.
characters that like they actually try
Moneybags,
to
the
give
ma-
it
man.
Moneybags is such a good pseudo enemy. Like he's not an enemy as such, but
He's just Wario.
he,
in
he's
animal
yeah he
form.
is warrior. He just gets in your way and annoys you, and you love it. Like he is an annoyance you enjoy. It's really
Yeah.
weird because they've stopped. For those that haven't played Spyro 2, I guess just to explain, they stopped progression with basically
Yes.
obstacles which involve just getting money to learn either a new skill or like open a bridge for you to be able to cross. And to do that, you've just got to pay money bags because he's a greedy bear that wants to take you all your money as if it was honey. And yeah,
His name is the way.
yeah. And you love it like towards the end where he gets booted out and all of that and like gets like I want to say karma come back to him. That's good. You enjoy it. And that's such a good way to do it. You even love, I want to say, the enemy, the baddie, Ripto. Funny enough, that's no spoiler because it's Ripto's revenge. He's right there on the label.
I didn't really care for Ripto personally.
Did you
I
not?
think Nasty Nork is better. In my opinion, it goes because of the design choice. I just like Nasty Nork's design better.
Hey, Spyro, maybe
But I'm also like I didn't play this game as a kid, so like you probably have value to it as I do, of course. So when I played it, I even Spyro, I feel like
Yeah.
I don't really like characters that are smart asses, you know, and Spyro is a smart ass, so I didn't really like Spyro that much himself. I'm just not a big fan of smart asses, pretty much.
Well, it was
Which is
because,
like,
like,
probably
at
Mario
the,
is a good
at
character
the
because he doesn't
time,
talk.
he was meant to be like because there was all the mascot characters. Same with like Crash. He was just meant to be edgy. He was a teenager instead of Mario and Pokemon that were all babyish, really.
They were all just there doing nothing pretty much. Like Mario doesn't say anything pretty much. It's just Mamma Mia.
It just goes around yahooing. And you're like, okay.
Okay, Mario, sure, dude. And it's funny because eventually he is the most successful mascot. And it's crazy because we choose a middle-aged man, even though he's not actually middle-aged, he's middle-aged. A middle-aged man over a dragon or an animal or a hedgehog, which is funny to me that children just prefer that over an animal for some reason. Wait, you're here again, or did this one? What's the one?
I completely forgot that to go to the next world, you've got to get
Yeah, LDX.
Yeah, you've got to get these eggs. It's just the dragon statues for the first two, and then it's eggs to go into last.
So you've been memeing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can, because when I generally play this game, I go straight off the bat for the 100% and then go the whole way, pick up everything on the way through. But yeah, I was trying to rush this and go more simplistically because of the podcast, but yeah.
But you messed up, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry for messing up, Chewie.
It's funny because you play this game to the opposite of me. Like how I played, I want to complete every map instantly, so I don't have to return to them ever again.
That's fair. It's because I was just going for the simple beat the game completion instead of the 100%.
I mean, yeah, and that makes sense because you try and do it for the podcast, but you're not gonna be able to do it. So maybe next time. But I feel like you also normally play like this, where you just go for the beat the boss first and then you 100% it with all the collectibles.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong, and you have to correct me there, dude. But I think I know you good enough to say that.
You do know me good enough, Chew, and you probably know by now. With this, I feel it's probably a good time to wind up because we've still got another world on this. And then, of course, Nasty Nork on the end, and we're coming down to a nice little quiet point.
Yeah,
so
in a hot balloon, vibing.
Hot balloon vibes are a real vibe. Like this, and that's another thing with Spyro. This is just such a nice, calming game. When you look around the world, and it's just so pleasing. Like, look at that.
Got the beats, got the tunes.
Yeah. But
the good tunes.
With that, we'll leave it here for today. Maybe come back another time. Maybe pick up Spyro 2. If you're the type of person out there that gets maybe a little bit angry that we don't finish these games, I'm very sorry. Tell us in the comments down below on YouTube that, please, can you finish them? And maybe we'll start doing it. Or others, maybe we're just here trying to help people with, commitment. You've got that OCD to really commit to something. And we're just here going, you know what? Sometimes you can just leave stuff midway. Nothing needs to be done to completion, does it?
Just let us know if you prefer us actually just focusing on one game and beating it for the future, so we can just do another one next week. Or if you just don't mind, we'll just do random games every week. I think that's a good thing to ask them.
That'd
what
be
they prefer.
nice. Yeah. Do people want us to return week on week to these games? So we'll just do, for example, here taking Spyro. We'll finish off Spyro 1 next week and probably start on Spyro 2 and then go through like that. Or do people enjoy the different games each week? That would definitely be good little feedback for us, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So if you could comment it, please. We're begging for you. We're once again asking for your financial support.
Asking for financial support, and please, but at the door to the Cap Club bar, we've got those little paper slips and a little box for you to leave your feedback in. Anonymous, of course, guys, unless you want to write them down in YouTube, which I don't think can be anonymous. I'm trying to think right now.
It gives you your name, but
you could also tweet at us, Stu, Kappa Club Cast.
Nice.
So
or Instagram or Facebook.
Indeed, same handle everywhere. So make sure to go drop us a follow on the socials. But until next time, until next week, Chugs, we do have to close on up. I've been Digital Bacon. Why don't you, if you're already out there, drop me a little follow on Twitter at DigitalBacon1, the number 1.
Okay.
And until next time, stay safe, drive home, take it easy. Toodles.
See you next